Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited. Y'all have no idea. Well, actually, yes, you do, because you've been following this show for years and years and years. Oh, we got so much to get to, so much to talk about tonight. I even have a special guest dropping by. Now, I know the usual questions are coming out the gate automatically. Eric, why are you dressed in full Eagles gear? And more importantly, it's 10 o'clock at night. Why you got shades on? See, normally I don't get to do this. Normally I don't. You want to know why? Because I got to be Mr. Professional. I got to be the guy who keeps things moving. We roll in this direction. I get it. I get it. But see, this is my night where I get to just be me. I get to cut loose. And let me tell y'all this right now. Normally, we would have specific topics for tonight, which we do, courtesy of my man Ray Lynn, our co-host, which I'm gonna get in here right now so he can enjoy this with me. My brother, what is going on? Oh, I'm so happy to see
Listen,
you,
man,
man.
listen. You already. I was
Look,
like,
bruh.
why this
Look,
man
I
got on
like you,
shades? Why
bro.
he got on shades?
I'm telling you, because my future is looking so good for the next hour and some change, brother. Ray, it is good to see you, my brother. So thankful you were joining me tonight, because I may actually need you to calm me down, because right now I'm just in such a fantastic mood. Because let me get John in here really quick too.
Well, can I get one thing out the way?
Yes, sir. Please go right ahead.
Real quick. Again, I'm sorry, Mama Kara Tenuto. My right? I don't want no problems.
All right. No. We ain't got no problems, bro. It's okay. It's okay. She love you. Now let me get John. John, my brother, John Shear. Look at him. John, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I taught. Oh, I can't do. I can't say I told you. Lips are sealed. Not going to say who I told you about, but I got
John,
that coming up.
John, we'll talk about it, John. We'll talk about it. But you know what?
I
There's
know
someone.
he not.
There's someone missing from this. And see, here's the thing. See, he tried to tell us last week that number one, his New Jersey Devils were going to beat my Philadelphia Flyers. Well, guess what? That didn't happen. But then we go even more deeper into it. You know, it's a 15-year rivalry between me and this dude. And I love him like a brother. Trust me. If I call this man on the phone, he on the first thing smoking, he got my back. I love him to death. But sometimes I get to have these moments. And the reason why I'm so excited is because, see, can't nothing bad happen to me next week, because we on a bye. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that we still the last undefeated team in the entire NFL. And what did we do last night? Exactly what I told y'all. Who knew? I knew we were going to. Shout out to my man, CJ Gardner Johnson. That is my man, for real. He wears Michael Jordan's number 23. But let me get Mike Caratanudo in here. Mike, how you doing, Mike? What's up, Mike?
I'm fine,
How you feeling?
man. I'm
Hey,
fine.
Mama. Hey, Mike. Serious question. How's Mama Caratanudo? I know she happy. I know you ain't, but I know she is.
I'm very happy. I'm the only one that took the Jets yesterday.
Oh, Mike.
Y'all
But you didn't win the week, Mike. Mike, what did I say last night when I put our
Who
Sunday night
did
picks
win
out?
the
I
week?
said
I mean,
it
it was
comes
that was
down.
an awful week.
Mike, it comes down to me and you, Mike, for the crown, brother. And you know what? That's the way I want it. I want it to be me and you. So that way, when my team, would you come into my house and then I'll punch you in the mouth, I let you know. Oh, Mike, see, and I even brought you a special guest, because see, you've been ducking this guy, but I brought a
I ain't
special
ducking
guest. I
anybody.
needed
That's
to
fine.
have him in here.
No,
This
if
is
you're
my
gonna ask
brother.
me a
Look him.
question, let
I
me
got
answer.
him. Look, Mike, don't even
Answer.
worry
You've
about it.
been you've been ducking. You've been
ain't
ducking
ducking,
since
Mike.
off season.
Hey, you ducked me all last season. We already talked about this. Where were you
Man.
last season besides making excuses for
You never
Okay.
invited me on your show last
We
season.
ain't worry
I
about Mike.
invited you on my
We gonna
show.
come back. Look, James, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us
I'm glad
tonight.
I could be a part of this.
All right.
All right.
I'm so happy I
Let's
can be a
get
part
down
of
to
this.
business, gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Let's be realistic here tonight. And I'm gonna take the shades off for this, see, because I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and be the moderate host that I normally am. But I don't know if I can do that tonight, which is why I'm glad I got Ray in the building. But Mike,
Like the show is off the rails already. Like
Mike.
it's just like it's.
Mike, you had one quarter out of that entire game last night, Mike. You did. You had one. The third quarter. Okay. We took our foot off the gas a little bit, and you put up 17 points.
Oh,
You did. You did. Okay. But what did we do, Mike? We let you know who we are. See, this wasn't a 5-0 team that just was going to lay down to Michael Parsons and Demore and Lawrence with the number 90, whatever his name is. I ain't even mentioning him by his name no more, because you want to talk that mess about, oh, the Eagles ain't played nobody. Oh, guess what? We them boys. Yeah, you them boys that got beat by a bunch of men last night. Okay, so let me, John, Ray, please. Would you enlighten the crowd as what you saw last night in the Sunday Night Football matchup between
Yeah, Judge Ray.
Mike's Dallas Cowboys and Philly Jim and mine, Philadelphia Eagles? Please, gentlemen, enlighten the crowd. Please, go ahead.
Please tell the courtroom.
Well, at first, I would just like to offer Mike for the rest of the show, Mike, just relax. Relax.
It's one
Just
game.
relax. It's one game. So if I'm an Eagles fan, right? I'm not just excited. Like, my team is the last undefeated team. They've looked good in every game. And then it's a division game, right? Like, that game means more. I don't care what anybody says. Like, if you guys were, it's kind of like as a Michigan fan, like, it don't matter what the record is when we play Ohio State. We understand that. When it's Philly and Dallas, when it's Philly and New York, when it's New York and Dallas, when it's the Command, they don't count no more. But like those games mean more, right?
The Commodores don't count. The Commodores don't count. It's okay.
I will say this as an innocent bystander, right? I don't know how much pride I would take in beating up on Cooper Rush. I will say this though. Dallas fans can't now turn around and go, oh, it's Cooper Rush, because y'all was talking real loud for the last 3-4 weeks with Cooper Rush out there. Micah Parsons was made to look human. And when your best players made you look human, the team looks what it looked like last night. Philly took y'all out to the woodshed. Take it in stride and say we'll see y'all in whatever week y'all gonna see them.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve. That's gonna be my early Christmas present. And when we go to Jerry World and knock them out again. But that game might not even matter at that point because we got that's
Probably
3 games
won't.
left. We probably have sewn up the division by then. I'm just saying. But John Shear, go ahead, brother.
Real quick, I will throw this out, E.
Yes, sir.
What it's looked like through the first 5 weeks is, and again, like, I wouldn't take so much pride in it's Cooper Rush, but you guys have been winning, and it's been the Jalen Hurts show. The defense showed up big last night. When you have a team, this is scary. When you have a team that can show they can win games in multiple ways, we can beat you this way. Oh, we can beat you this way as well. We ain't a one-trick pony.
But how much stock do you put into their defense handling the Cowboys last night? Like, you really don't know.
You can, but you can only go out and line up and play the
No, I
guys in
know.
front of you, right?
But like,
So
I can't.
They did what they
too
was
much
supposed to
stock
do.
into the defense.
Well, the
stopping
defense
Cowboys,
has the defense has done that against every offense they played, not just the Cowboys.
Hold on, real quick. Not mine. We put about 45.
You put up 35 on us.
Whatever.
Honestly,
We put up a lot.
Week 1 has been the toughest matchup for our
Yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles this season. Yes, the Detroit, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say it so the
We didn't
world
take the
knows,
Lions
and
seriously.
Ray Lynn can have a smile
do
on his
that.
face the rest of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Lions have given the Philadelphia Eagles the hardest time this season thus far.
I disagree with that.
Go ahead,
You,
John.
you almost
ahead,
lost to the Cardinals.
Who?
Yeah.
Almost.
Like, you
Cardinals
barely
the
beat
Cardinals
the Cardinals.
defense. What did you do against the Cardinals
still beat 'em.
defense in the second half? Okay,
Like, it was
great.
tied at the
You
end.
guys
Like,
talked
it was
about
tied at the very end.
performances. Ray, I want to tell you this, humble pie, and you're right. It's one game. I felt the same way. It was the exact same cookie cutter of the Cardinals game. The Eagles kicked their ass
No, it
in the
wasn't.
first half.
Excuse me?
Yeah, let me finish. You guys
Fine, go ahead.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
It
Go
was the
ahead,
same
Mike.
cookie cutter of the Cardinals game. The Eagles did beat up on the Cowboys in the first half. We saw that. Cooper Rush, yeah, through the interceptions. Micah Parsons was in no man's land twice. The funny thing, though, just like in the second half of the Cardinals game, when they came running back, you guys had one good drive in the second half against the Cardinals, and that was about it. You didn't score. How many touchdowns you score in the second half? You're looking at me with big eyes. How many touchdowns you score? The Cardinals defense contained you. They missed a field goal to tie it. Just go ahead, smile. It's facts. Go back and watch the game.
He's not wrong.
Hey, real quick.
Let me hear the Philly excuses as
Mike,
what your offense
Mike,
did against the
Mike,
Cardinals.
Mike,
Because you didn't do
it's-
crap in the second half. You did
Whoa.
nothing in the
Game.
second half.
Whoa.
You
Hold
get
on,
an
everybody's-
opportunity later in the
Everybody's out of
season.
order. Everybody's out of order. Let's relax. Mike, sir, your team can't lose, and you come on here and yell at the winning
No,
team
no.
like they don't
No,
need
no,
to.
no.
Nah,
I
he
said it's
just
the same.
gets
Ray,
his chance to
Ray,
rebuttal.
I
That's
said
all.
it's the same cookie cutter as the Cardinals game because the Cowboys in the third quarter came out, moved around. How many sacks did the Eagles have last night? They had the 3 picks, 0 sacks. The Cowboys, who lead the league in sacks, but I know their defense is overrated, had 4 last night.
Mike,
And
first off,
DeMarcus Lawrence
okay.
punched Jalen
All
Hurts
right,
in the mouth.
See, I knew
So,
you was going to do
you
this,
got
Mike.
one big
I knew
drive.
you was going to do this.
One
Excuse
big
me.
drive.
Excuse me. I knew
One
you was
big
going to do this,
drive.
Mike, because this is 15 years of me and you continue going back and forth. I knew you was going to do this, Mike. I knew it. So you want to go there? Let's
Say
go there. I
facts.
told
Let's
you.
say
You
facts.
had one quarter, Mike, where you put up 17 points. And then what did you do? You first off,
I just said they
when
got
we
their ass
lost Lane
kicked in the first
Johnson,
half.
that was your era of opportunity. And you still couldn't get the job done last night. I know one man does not make a team, but damn it, when Lane Johnson was covering Micah Parsons, where was he? Nowhere to be found. Don't sit up here and try and talk that. You had one quarter, Mike. The third quarter.
Yeah,
was
you
the
had one
only
half
quarter.
and one drive in the second half. One
That
drive.
was enough, Mike.
One-
You're missing the
Okay,
point. That
so
was the point.
it's enough. So great. Here's what I learned yesterday. Get everybody back on the screen. Here's what I learned yesterday because we're going to get to this game too. What I learned yesterday is that the Bills and the Chiefs are here and everybody else is way down there.
Well,
Because I'll
know
tell you what.
No,
Let's not say that yet.
No, get out.
Let's stop
No,
it.
I'm not. You are not going to sit up
Stop.
here and talk that mess, trying to tell me and tell our sports arena family that I'll be damned if I let you do that tonight, Michael Caratudo. You can. Listen. I respect the Bills and the Chiefs, and we are going to get to them. But what you ain't going to do is not sit here and give the respect to the only undefeated team. We have been through the mud. We have survived everybody that has been put in front of us. And you going to sit up here and say it's the Bills, the Chiefs, and then the Eagles? You kiss my black ass with that one, Mike Carey.
They
That's what
beat
you
them.
do.
I already said they beat them. I didn't take excuses. I'm saying we're going to get to what we learned, and it's facts. If you watch football, it's facts.
Okay.
And they lost.
All right.
The Cowboys lost. It was the same game as the Cardinals game.
No, it was not.
Because you
No,
said
it wasn't.
yes, it was.
The
What
game
did you
was
do in the
looking
second half? You had one good drive against the Cardinals in the second half. One. I watched the whole damn game. One
So
good
did I.
drive. How many good drives did you have in the second half? Then go ahead and tell me. Go ahead. Against
Okay,
the
look at
Cardinals.
time,
I mean-
Mike. Look at time of possession.
You're saying
Look at
that
time of
you're
possession.
saying that you watched the game, but you realize that the turning point of the game and what actually got the Cowboys back into it was Lane Johnson getting injured. Because Micah Parsons is a guy who everyone says is the arguably league MVP, defensive player of the year, unstoppable. Next, he's the next Lawrence Taylor. Everyone's saying this good stuff about him, but he was completely shut down in the first half when Lane.
Well, it
went out and got a
wasn't that they
concussion.
shut him down, James.
That's
it was
what-
actually-
that's
What do
when
you
he
mean they didn't
started
shut
to
him
be
down,
disruptive.
John?
It wasn't
Did
that
they
they shut him down. It was
Up
that the
until
game
that point,
plan-
Up until that point, our offense was getting whatever they wanted.
Exactly.
it-
So good for
it's
you. They
like-
took advantage of a mismatch. But it
It's like
doesn't
when
matter
the
if we had one
Niners-
good
Well,
drive in the
it
second
wasn't
half.
just Lane Johnson because DeMarcus Lawrence,
17
Where was he, Mike?
unanswered points.
Where
It's
was he,
17
Mike?
unanswered points by the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas has all the momentum. Jalen Hurts leads a 13-play, 75-yard drive, takes 7.5 minutes off the clock.
I said
That's
that.
what
They had
winning
one good
teams
drive in
do.
the second half.
It doesn't matter if the momentum swings this way or that way. When it's time to get the job done, they get it done, and that's what the Eagles did. So you can't sit up here and fault
They
us
won
and
the
say
game.
some crap about Philly excuses. Nobody makes excuses for
We ain't
winning.
making
We're winning
excuses.
over here. We're
We ain't making
6-0.
excuses.
No,
You are 4-2.
I didn't say
You are
make
now.
excuses for winning. I said it was the same.
You
It
are-
was the same cut as the Cardinals game.
How
Same
are
cut.
fine?
One
are
good
4-2.
drive in the second half.
You are
One good
4-2.
drive in the second half.
Gentlemen,
You are
Take a
4-2,
chill pill.
and you
It's
are 2.5
injury.
games back.
Okay.
Oh, so you want to say Lane?
All right. I'm cutting everybody off the screen right now because now I got to get professional. Because see, I was trying to have this conversation. All right. So, Mike, you talking about? Mike, just I'm gonna give you the floor. Okay. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm taking everybody else off the screen. Explain to me and you, how this is a cookie cutter carbon copy of the Arizona game. I will sit back. I will shut up and I will listen.
Because you kicked the Cardinals' ass in the first half, just like you kicked ours. Like I said, I watched the game. We couldn't do crap in the first half. Cooper Rush had the interceptions, and two of them were terribly bad. One of them, it went skyrocketing in the air. But you kicked our ass in the first half. Coming out in the second, they get the drive, they get the momentum, they start getting a little bit more two hurts, they get a sack. You guys came up with one big drive like you did in the Cardinals game. That's all I'm saying. It's the same as the Cardinals game. I mean, if Matt Prater plays, coulda, shoulda, woulda, if, like you always said, but that field goal's not missed. It goes overtime. Maybe the Cardinals win, maybe they don't. Either way, and the Cowboys got their asses kicked in the first half. I already said that. I watched the game. But in the second half, don't give me this foot off the gas stuff. You're playing the Cowboys. Those two teams and franchises hate each other so much. No one's going to take the foot off the gas from way back when you and I were joking around about Jimmy Johnson saying Buddy Ryan's a fat ass, and Buddy Ryan's like, I'm down 15 pounds. I don't know what he's talking about. One of the best quotes ever from Buddy Ryan. Love that. But anyway, that being said about last night's game, like, yeah, when it came down to that big drive, you had one big drive in the second half that crushed the momentum that they had built up. But the Cowboys' offensive line still didn't give up any sacks. So there's things to take away from. You guys are 6-0.
All right.
Don't deny that.
I wanted to hear
but
that.
It's the same cookie cutter game.
I wanted to hear that. But what I'm going to tell you, Mike, is like you, I watched that Arizona game and I saw what we were able to accomplish. Okay. And yes, if was a fifth, this would be the sip off and we all be drunk. But the fact of the matter is it wasn't. We won that game against Arizona because their kicker couldn't get the job done. Last night, same thing with Dallas. Yes, we hate you and you hate us. There is no slight, but make no mistake about it. That game was not the same, Mike, because we went out and typically in the first quarter, what do? We see what we're working with. We see what we're dealing with. We might take your best punch. We always know the first 10 to 15 plays of any game are scripted to see what the other team is going to show you. And then from there, you make the necessary adjustments. But what I will not agree with you on, Mike, and then John, I'm sorry, I will get to you. I promise you. What I will not agree with you, Mike, on is this being a carbon copy. Because against Dallas, I'm sorry, our defense showed you so much last night. And yes, with Lane Johnson in the game, Ray hit the nail on the head. Micah Parsons was brought down. Okay? Is he still the defensive MVP? We'll see that the rest of the season. But Micah Parsons has come down. And now people understand if you run the ball at Micah Parsons or you play the RPO, which is what Philly did, he doesn't know which way to go and you can catch him. Okay? So to the other 30 teams in the NFL, you're welcome for us giving you how to slow down. I didn't say stop. I said slow down. Micah Parsons. But at the end of the day, Mike, we won that game. Sit there, deal with the L. I'm going to John Scheer.
So this is what the Niners do to Aaron Donald whenever they play, is they take him out of the game. It's not that he's like that they make Parsons look human. It's that they take him out of the game with the game plan. And it's smart. I mean, it really is. The Niners do the same thing, and it works against Aaron Donald. That's why he doesn't look like the same Aaron Donald whenever he faces the Niners. I also want to point out a stat that I saw last night. Through 6 games, the Eagles had the most points in the second quarter of their second quarters through 6 games in NFL history. The largest differential for second quarters through 6 games, and the most points scored in 6 games in the second quarters in NFL history. Nobody's ever done what that team has done in the second quarter. So I just wanted to point that out, how cool that is, because I didn't even know that they had broken that record. I didn't even know it was a record, but that was pretty cool. I just wanted to point that out. So,
All right. Ray, I'm going to give you and Philly Jim the final word. Then we are going to take a break, and we're going to move on to the rest of tonight. But I needed to get this out the way first. So, Ray, please.
I just need, for future reference, like all of us love our teams. We come on here. I need Mike to humbly just accept his L. Like you can't, your team can't lose. Then you come on the show and ramble and yell and scream for 10 minutes about why it was a cookie cutter when they lost. But they lost. Listen, man, we've all had to come on here and be like, hey,
Did I not say they got their ass kicked and they lost? I did say that.
Yeah, but then you went
at
on.
least he ain't running.
It doesn't matter.
It's like saying, I like you, but
ask a question, you get an answer. When they ask a question, that is how it looked the exact damn same.
All right, Philly Jim, close it out, brother. I'm sweating already over here. I feel
Listen,
go ahead.
When we all are saying and done, when it's all said and done about this game, you had a bunch of people over in the Cowboys that were just talking too much. You had Jason Peters saying how, Philly fans are stupid, even though they loved him and showed him all the support for over a decade. You had DeMarcus Lawrence, who is a guy that had 3 sacks last year, a guy that has double-digit sacks twice for his whole NFL career, talking about Jalen Hurts. Well, Jalen Hurts hasn't proven anything because he hasn't played the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were acting like we were the nobodies. They were the ones saying we haven't played anybody. They weren't making the excuses about Cooper Rush, and if Dak Prescott played, then it would have been a different result. They weren't saying that when they beat the 5-1 Giants, but now that they lost, they had that excuse on standby for like the last month, and they've been waiting to say it. So you guys lost. You guys are 4-2. We're 6-0. You're 2.5 games back. We have the head-to-head over you. We're 2-0 in the division. You got to catch up to us if you can. So catch me if you can, Mike.
All right. We'll take a real quick break.
So fine.
When we come back, we are going to talk Bills Chiefs. More with the crew in just a moment.
Connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer Reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the sports arena. Let's get down to business here. Let's talk some other games that did in fact happen this weekend. And we're going to talk about the main event that pretty much was the Bills versus the Chiefs. Sorry, I got to move this guy. Sorry, you ain't taking my spot tonight. I'm taking this spot. Okay, anyhow. So, Bills Chiefs, listen. First question, and I'm going to come to John since I feel bad. I didn't give John enough time here.
That's all good. Yeah, it's
John,
your night, man.
Do you feel that the Bills Chiefs matchup yesterday at Arrowhead lived up to the hype and the expectation?
Nah. Until the end, like it really wasn't that exciting of a game. Like it was kind of disappointing. I mean, I expected fireworks throughout, and until the very end, like there really wasn't that much going on. You know how these two get down, like the last 2 minutes of the game, like that's how they do it. But the rest of the game, like I really was disappointed. Like I expected these teams to punch each other in the mouth the entire game, and I really didn't see much of that. But I mean, for those that are saying, "Wow, the Bills finally overcame the Chiefs," like the Bills overcame the Chiefs in the regular season last year too. But what happened, in the playoffs? So I mean, you can't just go by the regular season. They did the same exact thing to them in the regular season last year. The Ravens beat the Chiefs last year in the regular season. Like, until you beat them in the playoffs, the regular season, at least for these two teams, the regular season really doesn't, or it shouldn't matter. So this might determine home field advantage, but in this rivalry, I guess we're calling it, it doesn't matter whether it's in Arrowhead or Buffalo. Like, they're going to punch each other in the mouth, and it's going to come right down to the wire no matter where this game is played eventually.
Okay. So, Ray, I'm going to come to you then because he brought up a great point. The fact that this game could, for Buffalo, determine home field throughout. In years past, the AFC Championship game you've had to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs in order to get to the Super Bowl. It looks, as currently constructed now, you would have to go through Buffalo in January to get to the Super Bowl. Give me your thoughts on the game, sir.
So, two parts then. On the game, it was actually pretty cool to see the chess match, right? To see these two high-powered offenses come out with game plans to slow each other down, right? Like we've seen teams, implement all these different schemes to try to slow Kansas City down, and they played a different brand of football this year, and it still results in them putting up a lot of points, right? Me and John was already on the show. He's like, all these dinks and dunks, yeah, well, those add up. Like if they don't have the same deep threat there anymore, they're finding a way to still move the ball and score points. And then, like, the underrated part of this is Buffalo's offense was basically held in check most of the night, right? And it came down to just like last year. I mean, literally, when they scored, I texted a Buffalo friend of mine. No. The end of the first half. Did y'all see the end of the first half?
Yes.
Buffalo scores. Kansas City gets the ball in like 13 or 14 seconds. 2 passes, field goal range. I texted him. I said, those 13 seconds look for real familiar, didn't they? It was the same thing. Like, it looked just like the end of last year's game. And then you get to the last 2 minutes, they're back and forth. I posted on my page, if you saw it, this generation got us one. What we saw with Peyton Manning and Brady were because they finished 1-1. They were always playing every year. And then we looked forward to the matchups in the playoffs. They were clearly the 2 best quarterbacks in the game. I think that's what we're going to have for the next 10 years. Josh Allen and Mahomes, right? I read something where they were saying Mahomes' deal is kind of team friendly. It's a lot of money, but it's stretched out over a lot of years. And Buffalo's doing the same thing, right? So these guys are going to have the money in place. They're going to keep putting weapons around these guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing it for the next however many years. As far as home field not mattering, John, if you don't think going to play in Buffalo in January matters, okay.
I think it's going to come down to the wire between these two no matter where they play, honestly.
No, I just put it like this. As a fan, I would rather see them play somewhere. Like, you remember that game last year, San Francisco and Green Bay in the playoffs? Nobody wants to see that.
Right.
I don't want to see them playing in Buffalo. That's just
No,
me. But
no,
I love
nobody
it, man.
does. It's a garbage dump.
I love it. And last night, you know, the Buffalo Bills got the better of it. Patrick Mahomes had the ball in his hands with a chance. He threw an interception. Buffalo wins the game. Just that simple. Josh Allen 1, Mahomes 0. And we all plan on seeing these two teams again in the playoffs. So
I just hope, like everybody else, that it lines up to where it is again the AFC Championship
I
game.
hope not.
But Mike, as much as we are not friends right now, and we will be later on, I'm sure after this show is over, I still got love for you. But Mike, you and I have always talked to one thing, and that's been defense. Talk to me about the impact of having Von Miller on Buffalo, man.
Yeah, the fact that John says it doesn't live up to the hype, this is the problem with this day and age. And not you, John, this day and age, is defense is still phenomenal to watch because both teams, and look, the Chiefs defense, I'd say, is a little bit behind, to your point, Eric, because they went out and signed Von Miller. You and I were texting during free agency, and when he was back home in Texas, I was like, Eric, Von Miller's going to the Cowboys. Von Miller's going to the Cowboys. And then Buffalo comes in with this insane offer. Like John said, John, that last play, that last interception shows you why they didn't overpay. That stunt goes inside. Matt Milano's a spy. I mean, you've seen it broken down a million times today. Watching in real time, I said, oh, Matt Milano's not going to rush because he started to step back even before the snap. Not that he was dropping in coverage. He just stepped back. Von Miller went inside, blew it up. Mahomes is running. Milano not out of control. Linebackers need to learn that, Eric, because how many times do we watch games? I was at ASU texting you last year. Remember? I'm like, look at this picture. Linebacker just flies by. Dude, you can break down in football. It happens. Matt Milano slowed down, got his hands up. Mahomes still saw the throw. The DB flew in. It was a hell of a play. So seeing that defense, to me, it lived up to that. Ray, to answer your question, I would love to see January football in Buffalo. It makes me think of when the Bills were down 32-3 to the Oilers way back when I was a little kid, and they came back and won. So definitely want to see.
Can they read in Buffalo? Like, I didn't know. Like,
Hey,
can they read?
Hey, really?
Okay.
You're going to go after Buffalo?
Hey, real quick, shout out to Denzel for that little blurb right there. He's right. Mahomes ain't never played on the road in playoffs.
He's always been home.
Yep.
He's always been home.
Yep.
Philly Jim, man, since I got your partner from the gauntlet up here, man, talk to me about just, the impact now, because as Ray alluded to, and I knew he was going to lay it up for me because that's what he does. We're talking about the comparison. Brady, Manning, now Mahomes, Allen. Give me your thoughts just on those quarterbacks and that generational matchup that we as fans and as media are blessed with.
Well, I think that both these quarterbacks are really great, but I think there's a lot of talent in the league at quarterback. So I actually think people focusing on Josh Allen and Mahomes is taken away from the other young quarterbacks that are great because there's a lot. So I don't think that Mahomes and Allen have reached the heights of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady yet. I think it needs a few more years, but I definitely think it's interesting. And anytime you have anything in sports, people are always going to compare like the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 players from one era to the one of the previous era. So that's why I think it's happening. But to answer the question, I think it's fun to talk about. I think it's interesting, but I do think that there's a lot of talent at quarterback in the league.
Translation,
right now,
you're not talking about Jalen Hurts enough.
Ray, but didn't you say Patrick Mahomes has been to didn't we talk about Patrick Mahomes has been to the AFC Championship every year since he's been a starter?
Every single year.
Yeah, so I'll put him in that realm with Manning and Brady because they didn't even do that when they first started.
I'll
played
say,
in different eras.
I'll say this in response to Philly Jim over there. I agree because I did a post about the amount of talent in the league right now is unreal. Even if we just talk the AFC, right? Deshaun Watson ain't played a game yet. We can't forget around him. Lamar Jackson has the MVP. Joe Burrow been to a Super Bowl. Herbert's a stud, right? A lot of young talent. All the old dudes playing the NFC, right? Brady, Rodgers, Stafford, right? Like all the old dudes play with it. No, but I mean, then you still have Kyler Murray, right? Like Derek Carr is talented, man. They're just losing games. So the talent is unbelievable. But even in their era, in Peyton Manning and Brady's era, right? There was Drew Brees. There was Phillip Rivers. There was Aaron Rodgers. There was Ben Roethlisberger. There was Steve McNair at the time. Like there were really talented guys, but it was just like they're all good, but these guys are different. And that's how I feel like even Jalen Hurts, I didn't mean to leave him out because I said he's my MVP pick right now, right?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is my MVP right now. Like, there's a lot of talent, but these two dudes, man, it's like when you watch them, like as good as like Burrow and Herbert might be, as good as Lamar Jackson is, John, not to leave your guy out, Tua is talented, right? But these two, man, I think for the next 10 years, they're going to be head and shoulders above the rest of the quarterback class, the way Manning and Brady were. And Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers are great. And their whole careers were spent in the shadows of those two guys. Because, you know,
Reach.
Hell, even McNabb was great.
Yes.
I have a question for Ray Lynn. Has to do with my team. I have a question. So I've been wondering this because, you know, obviously if I answer it, it's a homer answer. Okay, so how do the Dolphins look? We talked about how dynamic and scary they are. Not to take this in a different direction, but they look like a top 5 team. Like we were talking about how insanely scary this team is through 3 weeks. Like we talked about that. You were talking about like this team is dynamic. Like, and then when they don't have Tua, they haven't had him for 3 games. Completely different team. You still have Tyreek Hill. You still have Jalen Waddle. Like, those guys haven't gone anywhere, but they look like an absolutely different team. And I know they've had injuries, but there's only one X factor, and that's Tua. The team is completely different without him.
Like, well, first off, how many teams look the same without their starting quarterback?
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Like, that's what I'm asking you. Like, what does that say to you about him? Because I mean, this is crazy.
It says he's the starting quarterback, and his backup is Teddy Bridgewater. It's the reason he's a career backup, right? And the other guy
But we're talking about all these great teams and great quarterbacks, but we haven't mentioned the Dolphins at all. And now they're 3.
I did.
We're like, they're dead in the water.
Hold on, I mentioned to it. What are you talking? I said your guy.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
But
like
now, John, let's be for real. If we're gonna call a spade, right? If I start naming AFC quarterbacks, Tua don't make my top 5.
Well, yeah,
and that's no disrespect. Like, just on talent, forget what he's proven. Knowing what you know of the game of football, Tua is not better than Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, or Deshaun Watson. He's not better than any of those guys.
He looked better than them through the first 3 weeks.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He sure as hell did.
He had that one really, really good game. And the reason he had that really, really good game is they were playing from behind and they just went into the chuck it offense and he threw it all over the yard and it looked amazing. He didn't look great against Buffalo. They won, so they won. He didn't look great against Buffalo. In fact, he looked great in one game.
He only had the ball, 19 minutes against Buffalo? That ain't his fault.
I'm saying what it is, right? Like, he looked great against Baltimore in a comeback win, right? But basketball, just for a second. When people say Steph Curry don't have no game winners, he's not clutching the fourth quarter. You know what I say? If you're up in the fourth quarter, you ain't got to worry about that, right? Like, a lot of these guys not getting, like Jalen Hurts, for instance, like Philly's winning. He ain't got to go out there and chuck it 30 times. They winning. When you playing from ahead, you don't have to go through. So his best game of the season came in a come from behind effort, and he threw for 400 some odd yards, and it was unreal. Tua's good, but it's a reason people don't mention him with those guys, and it's no different.
No, I'm just saying, like, how comes the Dolphins are a completely different team?
Because he's their starting quarterback. What do you think Buffalo would look right now without Josh Allen?
Because they have a 3rd-string quarterback playing right now.
Skylar Thompson.
Or they did.
Right.
I mean, we started the show talking about.
That was the point. Hey,
man, Tua don't play defense, though. I mean, sorry, the Jets rolled him. Tua don't play defense.
He wanted us to give Tua some props.
He did, and we're moving on.
You answered how I wanted you to. I got my answer.
We're moving on.
I got my answer. He play defense, and the Jets owned him.
We're gonna move on. Yes, they did. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
John.
Tua didn't play in that game, did he?
He doesn't play defense, does he?
All right, so
he
listen, really quick, guys. We got to keep it moving. We got so much to talk about. This is our last NFL topic, and we are transitioning over to the NBA because the NBA season starts tomorrow night. So, 4 NFC teams we thought were going to be, proverbially, we said they were going to be in the postseason. The Bucks, the Packers, the 49ers, and the Rams. They're all sitting currently at 3-3. Mind you, they are sitting behind the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Football Giants, and the Dallas Cowboys. I want everybody just to marinate on that for a minute. The division that was the NFC least, that was left for dead, that the only division worse than us was the AFC South. We have the most wins out of any division. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Bucks won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Los Angeles Rams won the Super Bowl last year. The Green Bay Packers, MVP Aaron Rodgers. And the San Francisco 49ers led by Jimmy G, who has one of the highest winning percentages in the NFL. All those teams are sitting at 3-3. So I want each one of you to take a team. Ray, I'm going to give you the Packers. John, I'm giving you the Bucks. Mike, I'm giving you the 49ers. Philly, Jim, I'm giving you the Rams. Here is what I want to know. Is your team in trouble? And can they turn it around? All right. Mike, I'm going to start with you with the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. When I saw this, when Ray put this up, to me, it's the easiest. I mean, out of 22 starters, they got 11 that are completely injured in IR, and 4 are all pros, 3 are all pros. So, look, the Niners getting healthy, and they're not getting their one cornerback because he tore his ACL. He's done for the year. But you look at Jimmy Garoppolo moving the ball, and everybody said, like, Kyle Shanahan's going to play defense this year. You got 4 guys banged up on the D-line that are coming back, that when they come back, the Niners, again, they have to right ship. They can't keep losing to the Falcons, right, Eric? I mean, you can't lose to teams like that, but they were right for the loss this week. So, to me, it's the Niners. I mean, what they have offensively, if Brandon Ayuk, forks up, baby, can start getting off like that, and Deebo Samuel is getting back into the offense too with Jimmy Garoppolo, man, to me, it's the Niners of all those teams because of what they have out, and they have the most coming back of the teams to when Ray put it up that are injured. So I say the 49ers have the easiest track. And since you said the NFC West is down lastly, they get healthy, they're going to run away with the damn division.
Okay. All right. Philly Jim, I'm coming to you next. You have the defending champion Los Angeles Rams.
The Rams have looked like one of the worst defending champions in NFL history. Matthew Stafford is not looking like the same guy he was from last year. The offensive line is terrible on the Rams. They can't move the ball. They can't sustain drives. They're not looking good. I don't think the Rams are going to make the playoffs. I think what Mike said is right. I think the 49ers, when they're healthy, are the better team, and they're going to win the division when it's said and done. So for the Rams, they're just not good.
All right. John Scheer.
Yeah, we're our quarterback is fighting with our offensive line in games and yelling at them and going to weddings on Fridays and then skipping walkthroughs and not flying with the team and getting to the game by himself and not going with the team and while a player is getting carted off the field while he's getting put on a stretcher, I'm standing over there. I'm Tom Brady. I'm standing over there practicing on the field with a trainer or whoever the hell it is. Instead of worrying about my teammate on a stretcher, I'm standing over there practicing by myself with no teammates. I don't think it's fixable. I mean, first of all, the personnel is not very good. The line is not the same. The defense without Sue. Defense just doesn't look the same. The weapons are all banged up that I have. And I got Bruce Arians kicked out of his job just so I could come back. And now I got, Todd Bowles as the coach. And, John's been saying for forever, Todd Bowles is a terrible head coach, and I truly believe that. So, this team is not fixable. They should have lost to the Falcons if not for Jerome Boger being an awful ref, costing 2 weeks in a row costing games. So should be 2-4 actually. The Falcons should have beat us, but no, there's no fixing it. This Bucs team is just dysfunctional, just like the marriage. Oh, I'm done. Done. That's all I got to say.
Ray.
With apologies again to Mama Care Tenuto, if you'd asked me this question before yesterday and they lost to anybody besides the Jets, I would be like, it's Aaron Rodgers. Y'all remember RELAX, like relax. But then they lost to the Jets, man, in embarrassing fashion. And I don't know what to make of that, especially based on the rant I made about the Jets early this year. Y'all remember, where do y'all see 4 wins? Y'all remember that, right? Like, sorry, Mama Care Tenuto, I got to keep saying it. In any other season, I would say, man, it's Aaron Rodgers. You got to trust the process. This is normally around the time of the year where people are talking bad about the Packers. They're talking bad about him. He gives some speech, and then next thing you know, they start winning games. But I'm looking at their schedule. They got Buffalo in 2 weeks. That's probably a loss, right? They get Dallas probably with Dak back. I don't know, man. I really don't know. And then the saving grace is, they got this bad division. Well, Minnesota, shout out Tyree, big guard, first cousins, right? Minnesota is doing their thing, so it's not like they're just going to get into the playoffs based off the division being bad. I will maintain my faith in Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers, and we've seen this exact situation multiple times before. So until he shows me otherwise, I believe they can turn it around. But it's not looking like it's going to be an easy task. That loss yesterday was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, man.
Hey, Ray, you tried to tell the people, Breece Hall, man, that brother's coming.
Yeah, but
I
Ray,
said that. I did say that.
You did.
I also said the Jets was going to win 2 games, so I don't know. You know what I mean?
Ray, real quick, my mom says she's rooting for your Lions the rest of the season too, because I told her you kept apologizing, and she said, "Why does everybody pick on the Jets?" And I said, "Ma, they've been terrible for a decade, and they had Adam Gase as a coach, right, Eric?" Enough said.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's disappointment, huh?
That being said, Sauce Gardner, you know how bad I wanted him. Freaking, I mean, I knew they couldn't trade up to get him, but Sauce Gardner is the man. The fact he was wearing the cheese head mocking Packers fans was phenomenal to me. But look, Robert Saleh and Eric, I said it was a great hire. He's a defensive guy. What did he do? He put his thumbprint on this team first. That defensive front four, Ray, to answer your question, again, that was a big question mark coming into this year, but they're nasty, and they showed it yesterday in Lambeau. But she's rooting for the Lions. She said she doesn't have any hard feelings. She's rooting for your Lions to get wins.
All right.
Hey, Eric,
yes, sir.
I don't know what's more surprising. Those teams we just named, San Francisco, the Rams, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay being 3-3, or the fact that Seattle and Atlanta are 3-3 as well. I don't know.
Atlanta should be 4-2.
Geno Smith, the top-rated quarterback in the league.
Hey, Gino said he ain't writing none of us back. We all read
They wrote me off, so I didn't write back.
That's what he said. That's what he said. All right. Speaking of the big guard, Tyree, and his show on Tuesday nights, we're going to show some love to him when we come back. We are transitioning over to the NBA. Got some questions for y'all. Be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
He
Welcome
went
back to
too.
the arena.
Wow, that was quick.
Getting into some NBA here, so you know I had to come correct for the
I
occasion
said-
this evening.
Why is he running a second commercial?
I couldn't find my hat, man. I need my hat. I gotta show love to all my Philly
I'm
teams,
not
man.
mad at it,
You
man.
know. So anyhow, let's talk NBA because the season does start tomorrow, and I think we got some questions we need to ask. First question, gentlemen, who is your preseason MVP? I gotta ask this question. Philly Jim, who you like?
Luka Magic. I think he's gonna have that type of season. You're seeing like the European guys getting a lot of love, international guys getting a lot of love. So I think he's gonna have to ball out because the team's not that good. Sort of like the team wasn't that good with Jokic last year. Same thing. I think he's just gonna have an unbelievable season. Luka Magic MVP.
John Shear, who's your MVP preseason?
Preseason has to be the Joker again. Like this guy just somehow keeps winning MVPs, even though his team, somehow can't get above like a 5th or 6th seed or whatever. So somehow gets MVPs. So that's my preseason MVP.
Ray?
The stars are aligning for Luka Doncic because they've been praising this guy since his rookie year, right? And then he made the Western Conference Finals last year, so the playoff success thing won't be a thing. But I'm gonna go a different direction. There's a guy on the East Coast wearing those same colors he got on, who his teammate went through this same thing, missed the second place. Y'all know who finished second in MVP voting the last 2 years? Joel Embiid. That's who. And there's gonna reach a point where Jokic is going to get he got enough treatment, the LeBron treatment, the Mike treatment. Like, that's why Giannis not winning them now, right? You win a couple and they whatever, right? Embiid's the guy. He was very deserving last year. I think he should have won it last year because record has always mattered. I think if he'd have been a 2 seed, he probably would have got it. I think Harden's going to be healthy the whole year. Maxey is a flat-out stud. The pieces are Harden lost. Keep playing.
He said
Just
Harden
watch it.
What you
healthy
saying,
the
John?
whole year.
What you saying, John?
Hey, book it. Go ahead, book
What you
it.
saying, John?
Go ahead, book it,
What
man.
are you saying, John?
I
Shear?
just want you.
Stop interrupting Ray.
I just.
Listen with your ears and close your mouth.
I heard
Oh,
a
Go
hamstring.
ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but John, why are we acting like Harden is this habitual unhealthy guy, right? Like 2015, 81 games, 16, 82 games, 17, 81 games, 72 games, 78 games. He's not a habitual injured guy. Just recently, he been having problems with that hamstring. He done lost some weight this offseason. And Harden not playing only going to work out better for him. But with Harden on the court, Maxey has arrived, right? Tobias Harris is now your 4th best player. I think that team is poised to make a run that nobody's talking about. They can be the 1 or 2 seed in the East, and I think with that, Embiid will be the MVP this year.
All
You're
right.
talking crazy already.
You know what? See, this is why I had to bring a
I
basketball
like it,
guy in
though.
here just to keep John quiet. Please welcome my man Danny Thompson in the building. Thank goodness. Danny, thank you for joining the show, man. I appreciate you being on here tonight, man.
Look at me seeing this guy again. Y'all know we was just on live before the show, right?
Yes, I do.
I mean, listen. I mean, someone's got. I mean, it's basketball season.
Exactly. So, Danny
it's the best
Thompson,
time
who
of
you
year.
got as your MVP, preseason MVP this year?
Kevin Durant.
Oh,
There's nothing better than Kevin Durant being irritated. We all know Kevin Durant. He reads media reports. ESPN has as the 8th best player in the NBA this year. Kevin's healthy. Kyrie's in the building. Ben Simmons wants to play basketball. Kevin has only won 1 playoff series in the entire time in Brooklyn. It's almost, at this point, people consider it to be a waste. It's almost as bad as the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George not getting to the finals ever. They've won 1 playoff series with them together. Steve Nash's job is on the line. And with Ben Simmons being on the court, Kevin Durant's going to be even more efficient. Me and Ray were talking about this. Kevin makes 50, 40, 90. He eats it for breakfast. And can you imagine now with all the open looks, with Kyrie on one side, Ben Simmons at the top of the key, you got Seth Curry, and you have Joe Harris on the wings, 2 of the most elite 3-point shooters, the most accurate 3-point shooters in the league. And all Kevin Durant's got to do is dominate the last 3 minutes of games. He's going to win the MVP just on efficiency alone. And Brooklyn wins over 50 games this year.
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
I can't help myself. I just because Danny want to keep saying Kevin Durant's mad because he's the 8th best player. No, we all know why Kevin Durant's really mad. We know why he's really mad.
Ray's been waiting to do that.
Yep.
He has been. Mike, you gave us your MVP, right?
No.
Go ahead, man.
Well, I was going to tell Ray, I was going to tease you and say Ben Simmons to see if you get up and walk off, Eric, but you know that'd be a joke. It's not Ben Simmons. Oh, no, it's not Ben Simmons. Come back. No.
Finally got the smile off his face.
So my MVP, Eric, I was kidding. My MVP is and I wanted to go with Steph because of everything Ray says, and I feel the same way about Steph, but I'm going with
Philly
John
hater.
Morant. I'm going with John Morant.
Yeah, you a Philly hater.
That's
I'm
not a bad
It's a
pick.
good pick.
You know I've never
Not
hated
a
the
bad
Sixers.
pick.
John Morant to me, like last year, and again, it's a full season award, but like it's like that middle third of the season, like he just, I mean, every night brought it, and the way the team played, and like you said, Ray, record-wise, if they go again, and I'm with you, it's kind of like player fatigue, like LeBron fatigue, Jokic fatigue, like Giannis fatigue. It'll be there. So I like John Morant. I mean, I can't really disagree with. I mean, I see what Danny's saying, and it's a regular season award, so it might be like Kevin Durant wins it and pulls a Dirk in Dallas and gets bounced in the first round.
I find it very interesting that no one said Giannis. I also find it interesting that no one said Steph. Like, I just find it very interesting. Now, my guy, listen, yes, I'm being a complete homer this year. It is Joel Embiid. To all of Ray's points, nothing more needs to be said about that. But I will say, John, I said something last year, and I booked it, which started the whole book it. What I will say this to you, John, and I will do it. I will do it so everybody on this screen knows this. I'm telling you right now. everybody is at least 80% on the Philadelphia 76ers squad, the Philadelphia 76ers will be the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Book it.
That ain't crazy.
There it is.
Okay? So now
That's a bold
let's
move,
get to who we
Because you
feel
ain't getting
is
number one
going
from
to
us.
be. Please, your Miami Heat ain't worth a damn.
We were
Anyhow,
one last year. Where
and
were
look
you?
what happened
4?
to you.
We beat,
And we're
knock you out.
John, I'm sorry. Did either
What happened
one
to
of
you
us,
in the second round? Who
John.
knocked you out?
John,
Get out of here.
did either one of
played
us
Joel
make the
Embiid with a broken
NBA
face.
Finals? Did we? John, did either one of us make the NBA Finals?
Played the Cowboys without Dak, and you're
Oh
talking
my!
big.
Okay,
Get
now,
out of here.
you see, you can't even stay on topic. Goodbye. You can't even stay on topic. So, let's go Eastern.
You're not him, John.
Yeah, you're in timeout. Is he calling you? Tell
No.
that man.
That ain't me.
No, he's not calling me.
I thought John was calling you. Like, put me back on the screen. Anyhow, let's talk about the Eastern and Western Conference. Who we think the champions are going to be. So basically, who is going to represent in the NBA Finals this year from the East and from the West? And I'm gonna start with Mike, and we're just going to go in a circle. So, Mike, give me your East. Give me your West.
I got a little shock in the East because I like what they did in the offseason, and I don't know if it's not a crazy strat. I know they're in the play-in last year, the year before they were, but I'm going with the Atlanta Hawks, Eric. That's my team in the East.
Okay.
I think, again, it could take a lot, but I like Megan's ex, DeJounte, man. I like that signing with Trae Young and the roster that they have with, Capella plays defense. Bogdanovich can hit threes all day. Hey, they have to go through those teams, but nobody thought John's Miami Heat would have number 1 last year, including me
I
and you,
did.
Eric, because I was with you on Philly last year anyway. When you booked it, I said you're damn right. But
all right. So, who's coming out the West?
The West, I'm gonna go painfully enough again with the Warriors, man, until somebody beats them, and I don't want Ray yelling at me because Steph is the man, and I'm going with Hawks Warriors as
So
NBA.
you're just skipping your Suns.
I think the Suns lose to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. If we're going to be honest, John, 100% healthy.
Okay. John Shear, who you got coming out the East? Oh, never mind. I already know. John Shear, who you got coming out the
Say
West?
Miami.
He gonna say Miami.
Please.
He gonna say Miami like I'm gonna say Philly.
You
Let's
already
just
know,
be let's,
baby.
let's keep
It's
it
You
up.
have
gotta
a
be
better-
the
you have
Miami
a-
Heat. We ain't got much time. Miami Heat, easy street right there.
Who's
Heat
coming
and
out the West?
Grizzlies. It's gonna be a dynamic finals. Heat Grizzlies, man, that's gonna be fun.
Memphis.
It's gonna go
Danny
7.
Thompson.
Bucks and Warriors.
Okay. Milwaukee, Golden State. Philly Jim, who you got?
I also have the Bucks and the Warriors.
Okay. Ray?
Steph versus Embiid in the final.
I like the way you think, my brother. However, I am gonna shock some people here with this one. And y'all gonna call me crazy.
Are you picking the
I got
Spurs?
Don't be professional. Be a homer. There you go.
No. 76 coming out the East. There ain't no question. 76 coming out the East. I'm saying the Clippers. I'm saying the Clippers come out the West. Kawhi, Paul George, John Wall, they all healthy. I think they're gonna surprise.
They got one good knee between the three of them.
Oh, come on, Ray. Why you gotta be a hater, Ray? Why you a hater, Ray?
I'm sorry.
Come on.
All right, really quick, I got to take a 13-second break for purposes that y'all already know. We're going to come back and we're going to get to this last point. We got 2 more points, but we are going into overtime. We'll be back in about 13 seconds, actually 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, this is what we do. Bam, we in the overtime. So, whose comeback are y'all most looking forward to? And I'm going to go first because I'm going to surprise and shock some people when I say this. I'm going with, I want to see what Ben Simmons does this year. For the simple fact is this. If that guy comes out and plays to the caliber that he was expected to play through in Philly, it's just one more reason why we can't stand that SOB. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ben Simmons does this year. Because if he show up and show out, don't come to the Philly. He's talking about, oh, I'm excited to come to Philly. Yeah, bring your ass to the 215 and watch what happens. Playing like you were supposed to play in Philly, but you couldn't do it. Now you want to go to Brooklyn because you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie and Steph Curry and all them. And now you want to be like, oh, I can play. Look, I can even make jump shots. I can make layups. I can get rebounds. I can do all this stuff, guys. Put me on your team. I want to be here. Maybe miss me with that. Ray, who you want to see this year, man?
You know, I asked this same question to Danny earlier, and I said Ben Simmons because I'm interested. Since you went Ben Simmons, I'm gonna go another route, man. We talking about those guys that I just said. Between the three of them, have one good league. But seriously, like people forget, like Paul George is like uber talented, and he came out and said, "I'm okay that I'm the number 2." Kawhi Leonard is super talented, and people forget like the hottest commodity in the league is wings. They got one of the best wing duos in the league, but they got a ton of them coming off the bench too. One of the Morris twins is still there. Terrence Mann is there. The kid that can score a lot, Norman Powell, I think is still like they got a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, but it all hinges on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George's health. John Wall's health is a bonus, right? So I'm just interested to see what that team looks like. I don't think they're going to win the West, but I'm interested to see what they look like. And Danny, I already know your answer. That's why I went the way I went. Like,
Philly Jim, who are you most excited to see come back?
Oh, I'm with you 100%. I'm excited to see Ben Simmons come back to the Wells Fargo Center and get the That's what I'm excited to see, because the last time he came, he was over here looking like a diva, wearing his little street clothes and, you know, all of that. So I'm interested to see it. Ben's he's been talking, he's been saying a lot of stuff. He's been doing podcasts and interviews and saying, you know, I don't understand why people are so critical of me, you know, making, you know, people pretend like I miss every shot. It's like, you know, Ben is reminding people that he's a person that doesn't take accountability. So you can front like you're a lion until you're in the jungle. So Ben, you got to come to the jungle, and I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I like that. I like that. DT, man, who's comeback you most looking forward to?
The way y'all talk, I just want to see Ben Simmons dunk on Embiid in the first game in Philly, so we get this over with. I just want to see both of y'all nuclear explode on the show. For me,
ain't gonna do nothing.
I think for me, it's the easy one. It's Zion Williamson. He's in the shape that we thought he was supposed to be in when he came out of Duke. I mean, the man actually has a real physique that's not round. It's just that if he's going to be on the court, he's what you watch on League Pass every single night. He's the reason why the New Orleans Pelicans disrupt everything in the Western Conference. Because if he's healthy, with the way CJ McCollum played in the second half of the season, with Brandon Ingram being Brandon Ingram, and then having two of my favorite players in the league on the same team, and Herb Jones and Jose Alvarado, Todd, your team lost to the Falcons, so you cannot be in this chat at all.
Exactly. Big guard, you can't say nothing because I'm gonna see you tomorrow night on Say What, Say It Again. Tuesdays at 8:30. Yeah, you need somebody to host that show. You better recognize. Go ahead, DT. I'm sorry.
All right, tell them to beat the Falcons and call me. But with Zion on the court is like you see, and not to mention we haven't talked about Jose Valanciunas. If Zion's healthy, there may be a top 4 team in the Western Conference. That's how good Zion is. This dude's been an all-star, and we hadn't even really seen anywhere close to potential. So my guy is Zion.
John Shear, who you like?
Yeah, I don't like, but I want to see how LeBron handles this Lakers team, man. I want to see this Lakers team in action. I want to see Russ and Pat Bev trying to coexist, and LeBron is the parent trying to play peacemaker. That's what I want to see. I want to see this dysfunctional mess out in LA. Like, that's what I want to see. I'm all for that. I mean, LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time, and he got to deal with 2 toddlers not wanting to share. You know, like, this is going to be so much fun, man. I can't wait.
Eric, can you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat the question?
I said, whose comeback are you most looking forward to?
Because I know what John was talking about.
Look, this man got to come back. He had a nice season, then he didn't get to finish it, and he wants to win a championship. He got to come back, and he's got to overcome 2 toddlers to try and win a championship.
Oh,
That's a comeback. That'd be one of the greatest championship runs ever if you can overcome these toddlers on your team.
But seriously, and I threw this question out to the masses because I said this to Danny earlier. I don't think people realize how much star talent didn't play last year, right? We talked about Kawhi, we talked about John Wall, we talked about Zion, Ben Simmons, Dame Lillard missed damn near the whole year last year. Everybody's looking to see what happens when Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are out there with him, right? Colin Sexton missed a year last year. A lot of star talent is coming back. It's just so much talent in the league. A lot of these guys missed time last year. It's going to be interesting to see how the league shapes up if everybody's healthy. So,
Mike,
Yeah,
who's come back?
I didn't realize he didn't answer yet. I would have.
Are you most looking forward to?
well, no, Ray said the guy because we talked about Jokic fatigue, but mine's Jamal Murray, man. What he was doing in the bubble, like if Jamal Murray comes back playing, and then you're saying like 80%, between 80, 90%, Eric, like Denver's gonna really annoy a lot of people in the West because Jokic, if he's being himself, then to me, Jamal Murray, I mean, that race for the top three will be, if he plays the whole season and healthy, and I hope he is, that race for the top three is going to be sick in the West.
Okay. All righty. So we have one last topic here. The most intriguing storyline. And y'all already know where mine is. I just want to see how Brooklyn, when they do come to the Wells Fargo Center, what that looks like. I want to see the matchups both at Barclay and at the Wells Fargo Center between the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets, because I think it's going to be very telling of how these two teams fare. Now, listen, I throw no shade to the Milwaukees of the world. I throw no shade to the Miamis of the world. But as far as intriguing storylines, the fact that Ben Simmons jumped ship, didn't play, now all of a sudden is now a man amongst boys. And as Philly Jim so eloquently put, you want to be a lion, all right, well, come roar in Wells Fargo and see what happens to you, because you're going to walk your happy ass out of here at Kitty Cat, okay? That's what I'm going to say. So, Mike, most intriguing storyline.
Well, I mean, John kind of stole it. As much as I can't stand the Lakers, I think that is it, because everybody's talking about Russ's season last year, and everybody in the preseason, they just showed he didn't want to come to the huddle, and Anthony Davis had to grab him and kind of scoot him over one. He wouldn't look at Pat Bev. So to me, it's one of the things where I think the Lakers, it is intriguing just because it's dysfunctional. And I mean, by midseason, we might not be talking about it. Like I said, who knows? But I have to go with the Lakers and the other team, like Ray said, with all their wings, the teams that share that building, the Clippers too. Sorry, I know it's two answers, Ray, but
you guys
it's
talk
time.
about wings.
They're
I
in
would
the
have
same
thought you were
building.
sponsored by like Buffalo Wild Wings or something. My gosh, you guys talk about so much wings. Like, by the way, honey barbecue is the best. Yeah, for me, I mean, it has to be the Phoenix Suns, man. Like, none of us really mentioned that, like, everything going on with the Phoenix Suns and how DeAndre Ayton hasn't talked to his coach in like forever. He doesn't even talk to his own head coach. How is that even possible? Like, this Suns team, who the last couple years has been the best team in the regular season, at least, over on the West, and they got all this dysfunction. Like, can they overcome it? I mean,
You're clueless.
there is so much dysfunction there. We focus on the Lakers, but these Suns, I mean, starting to
the dysfunction's from the owner, not from that. But anyway,
yeah, but
on.
when the head coach and DeAndre Ayton don't even talk,
You didn't talk to anyone on the team, man. It's the off season.
That's your head coach, and they haven't talked to him forever. Come on, don't make excuses for your little Suns out there. Just because your ASU is having dysfunction, and then the Suns are having dysfunction, the Cards have dysfunction. It's something out there where you're at, Mike. All this dysfunction.
The Super Bowl's in Arizona this year.
Your gums.
Dysfunction.
That's dysfunction.
Danny, the most intriguing storyline, sir, please.
It's literally when we get to January and about a good third of the teams literally start pulling the masterpiece from 1999, jumping on a tank for Victor Wembanyama, when it literally gets to December and the Indiana Pacers literally throw in the towel with the Spurs, with the Hornets, with probably Orlando, and about 10 other teams in the league, everybody trying to check Victor Wembanyama. Because if you watch those two games out in the G League, out when he played against G League Ignite, or you've been following this kid for the last literally 2 years, he's been the consensus #1 overall pick. He's 7'5". People know what it is. This literally is going to be the tanking job of the century already. I think this might be just as bad as LeBron in 2003. Like, this tanking job might be just as bad as 2003,
Danny,
Everybody wants this kid.
if you're gonna come on the sports
On
arena,
the line for this one.
you got to give credit where it's due. The tank job of the century goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's just call that what it is. We have never seen a team do what they did. Like, that is the tank job of the century.
Process. It's the process.
Didn't even get to the conference finals, Ray.
We're not talking about we ain't talking about the results. We talking about the process. Oh Lord.
Got you.
They told the whole world we're not.
And Hinkie got banned from the league because of that.
Yeah.
Or he got blackballed out the league because of it.
It's literally the Jazz are starting on opening night. The Pacers will jump in right after that. The Spurs will be right in after that. The Hornets already started tanking because Book Knight got arrested this morning. So they're in tank mode as well too. So
The Hornets done been tanking for like 15 years, man.
Philly Jim.
Stop it.
Okay, I'm also gonna say.
Yeah, when you win our division, come talk to me, Dan.
I'm also gonna say that
we don't win divisions. We get drafted.
My storyline is also for the Sixers, but I'm gonna take it in a different direction. And I like the fact that you just brought up the results, because if you look at it, all the misses in the draft of all those picks that they tanked for, they missed on a lot of them. They hit on a few of them. They got Joel Embiid. They have Tyrese Maxey. They had Ben Simmons. They traded him for James Harden. And James Harden, everyone been talking about him. And we saw the way that he played last year in the playoffs. We cannot have that over here. We cannot have that in Philly. The energy in Philly right now is unbelievable. The Eagles are undefeated. The Eagles are looking like one of the top teams in the NFC. The Phillies are in the NLCS. First time making the playoffs in 11 years, and they're, right on the doorstep of going back to the World Series. So the Sixers, if you're going to continue to lose in the second round, we can't have that. So we need James Harden to be the James Harden that we brought him here to be. And we need to see the continuing growth of Maxey, and we need to have Joel staying healthy. But in the end, it's also going to be on Glenn Rivers to get the job done, because he has a history of not getting the job done as a coach, blowing 3-1 leads, and doing all sorts of stuff in the playoffs. So we need him to coach the way that we brought him here to coach, and we need James Harden to be the James Harden that we need him to be.
All right, Ray.
Here's an interesting storyline. It's not a storyline yet, but I'm making it up, and you heard it here first, right? In the past 7-8 years, Golden State won 2 championships and then went and got Kevin Durant. That's how hungry. When they won a championship, lost the finals, then they went and got KD. Houston, James Harden playing at MVP level. They go get Russ. They go get CP3. They were adding pieces. You look at the New Orleans Pelicans making moves. Zion, Brandon Ingram. You look at Minnesota, went out and got Rudy Gobert to put with Cat. Phoenix thought they had something brewing. They go and get CP3, right? You look at Denver, MPJ with Jamal Murray. The Clippers go get Kawhi. They go get PG. They go get John Wall. All these teams are making moves, right? And you know who's the one guy that just sitting back left in the sauce that nobody talks about no more, nobody cares? All this loyalty, you mark my words, by the middle of the season, Dame Lillard will request a trade. Mark my words. This is the year that he stops talking that I'm loyal, other guys want to jump ship. This is the year that Dame Lillard finally looks around and you go, know what, man, the hell with this. Like, look at the rest of the West. Every other star, their front office has put a comparable team around them, except for Damian Lillard. This is the year he requests a trade. Mark my words. And that's not what I was talking about. It's another. But no,
I got you. Yeah. Before we get out of here, and I'm gonna let Ray do his thing as we close out the show, I just want to take a moment. Of all people to give me football news, my mama, who I talk to each and every week, she said, she told me, she's like, who's Antonio Denard? And I was like, why do I know that name, Mom? She's like, he was an NFL player. I'm like, yeah, what about him? She's like, he was shot and killed over the weekend in my hometown at a bar. And of course, I had to go back. Not saying I'm fact checking Mom, because I'm not, but I was just like, this young man played. He was 35 years old. Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. He wasn't 35. He was 32. He wore number 35. He played for the Packers. He played for the Giants. He played for the Jaguars. He was a cornerback. So I just want to take a moment and say rest in peace to that young man. Unfortunately lost his life. Don't know all the details, but we're going to show love to a brother. So with that, I'm going to let my man Ray close out the show, doing what he does best.
What up, everybody? This is a little different, right? It's on the sports tip, man. Y'all see us on here, the sports arena, the whole sideline sports family. Shout out to Philly Jim in the building, the Gauntlet. He does this Eagles podcast, man. A lot of us do this just because we love it, right? We all love talking sports. We all consider ourselves journalists, analysts, whatever you want to call it. And a couple of months ago, something really special happened, right? This right here happened. Every guy you see on this picture, this happened. We all met live and in the flesh. That's Eric, Mike, Patton, me, Rodney. That's Danny in the building. We had to Photoshop my man in there because he couldn't get to the picture with his leg. Shout out Prime Time, Cortland, right? We was all down there. But then something else special happened, right? Some people just went for the thing, but other people took and made opportunities out of that. And I want to show some love and give a huge congrats to my guy, Mr. Big Guard himself. Y'all don't see him on camera no more because he can't be, because them people at the mouse said, I can't do that. And when I say the mouse, I mean Disney, I mean ESPN. He ain't went too public with it, but my guy went down there, rubbed elbows with the right people, talk to people, and that man is working for ESPN. We did do this sports thing. That is living the dream, right? Like, that's the creme de la creme. To work for ESPN, my guy is working for ESPN. That's why y'all don't see him on camera, but I wanted to give him some love and respect. Clap it up for him. Big Guard, we see you doing big things. Congrats, bro.
Yeah, much love to that, brother, man. And again, he always likes to call and say, man, I couldn't be more thankful that you and Danny told me to go. We're like, bro, all we did was give you the invitation. You walked through the door. You talked to them people, bro. You set yourself up for success. And that's all I ever want for anybody, especially here on the sports arena, part of the Sideline Sports Network family. That's what I know is fitting to happen for my brother, Danny Thompson. I already know he got stuff in the way. Every time I call this man, he's like, that's where I'm at. And I'm like, damn it, I got to catch up to Danny. I talked to Mike. Mike's like, I'm going to this game. I'm going to that game. You see this guy? Hold on. Which way am I facing? This guy right here. I call him my little pit bull because John Scheer is an amazing man. Y'all have no clue on a daily basis what he does. Someone had to tell John that he needed to slow down or his health was going to be in jeopardy. And it was like, yo, calm down. I turned to this side. I got a man who not only hosts, who not only produces, who not only creates content, but I got a man who at the drop of a dime, if anything ever goes wrong in my court, this brother looks at me and goes, 4 simple words, I got you. And goes. And then the man below me, my Philly brother, Philly Jim. Yo, this is my tag team partner when it comes to the Eagles. Shout out to our boy Lindy, because I know they do a great thing on the LinkedIn podcast. But there is no hungrier man out there right now. This brother called me, texted me the other day. He was like, I'm finna go do this. What do you think? I'm like, bro, just be you. This is probably one of the most authentic men I've ever had the privilege of working with. And I say all that not to bloviate, not to blow up anybody. I say it because we have seen so much happen since COVID, and we realize that life is short. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to give my flowers to my people, because I want everybody to be successful. See this right here? This is my table. We all going to eat at this table. If you ain't a part of this table, guess what? Go get your own, build it, eat over there, but you ain't eating here. Okay, let me be very clear about that.
You can eat at the kids' table.
Can I say something to Ray? Ray, the creme de la creme is Sideline Sports. I'm just saying, Sideline Sports is the creme de la creme. You think ESPN is, but this is the creme de la creme. People just don't know it.
Listen, start at the bottom now.
You know what, Ray? You forgot in that photo, Rodney's at ESPN as well too.
He is.
Facts.
Yes.
Yeah, Rodney, the guy who was standing behind me, he's at ESPN as a production coordinator.
Yeah.
So that event turned 2 folks into ESPN, and you don't know what's going to happen with the rest of us. You know.
But I can tell you, this picture is not the last time you will see the 8 of us together, because it's fitting to happen, along with everybody here tonight. All right, really quick. Philly Jim, the Gauntlet Podcast, the LinkedIn Podcast. This brother's all over the spots, part of the Sideline Sports Network. Make sure you check him out. Spoiler, you will pretty soon see this brother working with a college university in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to tell you which one, but just stay tuned. Mike Harris-Nudo, Forks Up, baby, as always, Arizona State University. I guess after this show, we can go back to being friends until Christmas Eve, and then we'll be back at it again. 15 years in the building, my brother. Much love to you, man. To the man, John Scheer, Blue Hawks 13. Always got love for you. Thank God you are feeling better, because, bro, I'm telling you right now, we need you to be a part of this, because trust me, just when you think the fire's out, John pours more gasoline on it and say, nope, we're going to keep rolling. To my man, Danny Thompson, yes, I call him my OG. I'm not going to call him the OG. He is my OG, because when it comes to
Mariota just scored again.
Mike, why you do that, Kyle Pitts?
No, man, because he said seriously in Rush we try. I said nothing but good things about the 49ers, and he's coming at me. I love Tyree.
All right, to my man Danny Thompson, man, I don't even know where you at right now. You have been with Sports Illustrated. You have done a 3-point conversion. You have done Newport News in Virginia. Listen, Danny Thompson, get used to the name. You're going to see it. And to the brother who I still say over here, right here, he's going to have to eventually. It will happen. He is changing his name because he will no longer be the sports reporter without pay. Someone's going to sign this man to a lucrative contract, and you are going to hear Ray Lynn's voice 6 days a week. I'm telling you right now, if you would have given me 30 seconds when I was at ESPN HBCU week with Stephen A., you know what I'd have told him? I'd have been like, look, there is a man that you don't already started to look into his eyes and know, because when they were doing First Take, Yo Take, Ray was one of the people that they highlighted on First Take. I'm telling you right now, the matchup that the world is going to see, I am manifesting this right now. Stephen A. Smith versus Ray Lynn. That is
Stephen A. don't want that word.
Get smoked.
You don't want that word.
Hey, real quick though. Hey, y'all ever seen the meme where it'd be like, it's a ESPN or such and such forcing us to do something, and it'd be like this right here? As if we didn't get enough Broncos on prime time, they just win the overtime. Like, we gotta keep watching the Broncos. They in overtime. Nobody wants to keep
Mike,
watching.
why are you cheering? You picked the Chargers just like the rest of us.
Yeah,
I want the Chargers to win
Aren't
in
they
OT.
in London
I
next
want
week
the
too?
Chargers to win in OT, but you know,
I'm so
hey,
tired
Khalil
of the
Mack,
Broncos.
Khalil Mack.
Hey, I'm going to end the
Come on.
show by simply saying this. For this week only, Mike, hey, it is good to be the king. Peace, y'all. We out.